Sounds like your trip around the world opened your eyes, but you got a little bit more than you anticipated. You must have seen a lot of darkness.
I learned the reason for my existence.
Yo, 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 it's been a minute. Did you guys miss me?
Not possible.
Oh, well, I see how it is. Anyways, how do you guys like the new intro? It's a work in progress, but it's always nice to switch it up every once in a while, yeah? Today, we're gonna be focusing on a character that can't seem to realize that their screen time is over. I'm joking, calm down. Put the keyblades away. Alright, look, we're not gonna get into all this Xehanort's story is not quite over yet business. Believe me, I've been seeing this discussion floating around quite a bit lately. Specifically having to do with this. Like, is this young Xehanort? It could be. Possibly. Maybe. Who knows? Regardless, all of that is going to go on the back burner for now because today we are going even further back in time to a period between current events in Union Cross. And hopefully by the end of it we'll be able to explain what sent Xehanort over the deep end and made him go to such extremes to carry out his plans. Strap yourselves in because we've got a lengthy one today. Gotta make up for lost time and all. And without further ado, it's time for a Dark Road video. The beginning of Dark Road, we see Xehanort waking up from having the same repetitive dream again. A dream of unfamiliar faces in an unfamiliar world. Also, as a quick side note, if the ending of Union Cross was a bit too cryptic for you to understand that our player character turned out to be Xehanort in the future, then this is probably the most blatant and obvious way Nomura can make it for you. Anyways, due to this repetitive dream, Xehanort longs to know what is out there. Does such a world from his dreams exist? And if so, is it the only world that is out there? He must know. While lost in thought, he is approached by an all too familiar cloaked figure who we of course know as Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness.
Yes. This was where it started. At this point, I still had no idea that I was talking to myself. He cast away his bodily form just to set me on the appointed path.
What do you mean?
That is Xehanort, reduced to just a heart. The being you and your friends called Ansem.
Whoa!
He begins to egg on Xehanort's curiosity of the outside world, stating that the world from his dreams does in fact exist. However, this world that he is currently in is like a prison to him. The potential of his life was limited here. You seek more, and I can give you the means to seek it. Xehanort, doing what any sane person would do, questions who this stranger is and what they want with him. Which, if I didn't know any better, I would say that roaming the Destiny Islands and talking down to kids seems to be Ansem's favorite pastime.
What? Who's there?
I've come to see the door to this world.
Huh?
Ansem then opens the corridor of darkness for Xehanort to travel through if he so wished, for one step is all it takes. While traversing through the darkness, Xehanort becomes attacked by the feeling of darkness for the first time. Hatred, jealousy, doubt, all of these emotions that he has never experienced before all washing over him. But pay attention to what he states, because of course this is Xehanort narrating the events of the past for us. I didn't know it at the time, but these belong to people I have yet to meet. Some were even directed at me. Would I be able to handle that? Being the focus of someone's darkness, someone's heart, regardless of where these foul emotions were coming from, they gave me comfort, but I had no idea what lied ahead. Something more terrifying than darkness, emptiness. Yikes, pretty dark stuff if you ask me. What? I didn't even do anything. Anyways, within these words are the key to solving this mystery, and it is when we start piecing this together along with future events as well as the Dark Road finale trailer do I believe we begin to reveal the reason Xehanort was willing to go to such extremes to see his plan come to fruition. When Xehanort awakens in Skyla Kylum, he would soon enlist in a school for up-and-coming Keyblade wielders, and it is here that we will meet the sole reason for Xehanort's motivations. His classmates, Ericus, Vor, Erd, Bragi, Hermod, and Baldur. All under the guidance of Master Odin, Xehanort would soon find within these faces a sense of familiarity and comfort. One day they are all summoned to the classroom where Master Odin informs them of the disappearance of their 7 upperclassmen participating in the Mark of Mastery. Due to time being of the essence and it being dire circumstances, the Master enlists the help of Xehanort and his classmates to help track down the missing wielders. While on their journey, they come across multiple instances of darkness for the first time, all the way down to seeing Heartless for the first time. Considering this is their first time venturing to the outside world at all, a lot of this stuff was very unfamiliar to them. And the Queen of Hearts only helped complicate things because it brought all of their beliefs of light and darkness into question. The Queen rules over her people with fear, which is an emotion that feeds the darkness in people's hearts. But at the same time, it seemed that she was completely unaware of this fact and thought herself to be herself, not controlled by darkness. But it was obvious that darkness was ever so present. This dark being even was created from her very same darkness. But if she wasn't aware of what she was doing, was she truly in the wrong? Do we even have the right to judge what's right and what's wrong in these worlds? With so many questions swirling through their mind, they ended up returning home. Through these last few excursions, the class realized just how little they know of the outside world and the true nature of light and dark. Xehanort and Ericus had both had a flash of words being spoken by Brain, and that is that darkness can hide anywhere, even in someone's heart. Xehanort, because of him being the reincarnation of the player character, and Ericus being a descendant of Blue Blood, specifically Brain being his grandfather. Xehanort then comes up with this theory that if all hearts contain darkness, and they being the protectors of the light, the darkness would be drawn to them specifically, and that very well may explain the disappearance of the upperclassmen. This info, by the way, is nothing new to us players because it was explained all the way back in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Come on, lazy bum. Wake up.
Those creatures that attacked you are after the Keyblade. But it's your heart they really want, because you wield the Keyblade.
The Keyblade.
Yeah, we had to get it away from you to shake off those creatures. It turns out that's how they were tracking you.
It was the only way to conceal your heart from them. But it won't work for long.
The Heartless?
The ones who attacked you, you remember?
Those without hearts.
The darkness in people's hearts. That's what attracts them.
And there is darkness within every heart.
However, keep in mind, this is before any of this knowledge had been passed down, and they were discovering all of this for the first time. As I said, they have never even encountered a single Heartless until recently. However, this means that the upperclassmen were sent to the outside world without the knowledge that they themselves were a homing beacon for the darkness. Imagine the danger of that. It's practically like when Sora first got the Keyblade on the Destiny Islands, or when Roxas was gaining his memories back and kept getting attacked without knowing why, fighting for their lives. Just not knowing that simple bit of info could be the difference between life and death. You could be relaxing, taking a break from your mission, when out of nowhere you get jumped. And yeah, sure, they're trained Keyblade wielders and should have their guards up at all times. Whether your guard is up or not doesn't matter if the entity that attacked you is significantly more overwhelming. Perhaps it was something like, oh, I don't know, the true 13 darknesses? Yeah, I piqued your interest with that one, didn't I? Well, we're gonna touch base on that in another video, so make sure to stick around the channel. Going back to Xehanort and his class, they all agreed that regardless of how it originated, darkness is darkness, and Xehanort brings up the idea that they should keep following the darkness because it will eventually lead them to the missing wielders. Naturally, they are all reluctant to the idea, especially Ericus. You're asking us, the protectors of light, to intentionally chase after and dive deeper into darkness? However, it being the only clues that they had to go on, they all eventually agree. Flash forward, and we then see Xehanort placing flowers on a grave, and the camera begins to pan out to reveal 4 in total. Xehanort gives Ericus his last departing words before leaving Scala at Kylum for good, and for the time being, we are left in the dark as to the events that occurred between the 2 time periods. So what exactly happened here? Well, remember before how I said I had various thoughts on this? The Kingdom Hearts finale trailer all but confirmed my suspicions, specifically the scene regarding Master Odin. In this short scene, we see Ericus in Keyblade armor laid out on the ground, and soon after Xehanort falls as well, shrouded in a thick darkness, seemingly on the brink of death. death, Master Odin swoops in just in the nick of time, embodying the two in light and protecting them from any further exposure. But pay attention to what Master Odin states here. So you are all that remains. Remains of what? Well, let's go back to the scene with Xehanort's departure for a quick second. After placing the flowers on the graves, Ericus tries to comfort Xehanort by saying, "What happened wasn't your fault." When we piece these words together, as well as our last known knowledge of the Keyblade wielder's goals, it's safe to say that these graves are Xehanort's classmates. That much is obvious, but more so importantly, that Xehanort is the reason for their demise. Xehanort's ambitions for finding out more about the darkness was a mistake, one that he could not undo. He believed that delving into the mysteries of darkness would prove beneficial to the mission and hopefully lead them to discovering the missing wielders. Further and further they chased darkness until ultimately becoming way too over their heads and faced with a darkness so strong that they didn't stand a chance. And of course, there is only one being we know that is capable of that, and that is the exact being that we see in the same cutscene that Xehanort and Ericus are defeated, the true darknesses. By chasing after darkness, they became way too over their heads. The threat of darkness became more dominant, more stronger, and more potent until eventually landing them on the head honcho's doorstep. Just like how Aqua, while traveling through the realm of darkness, the deeper that she went in, the more dangerous it became. And who was the ringleader that pointed all of them in this direction in the first place? Xehanort. He led his classmates to their fates, or at the very least, that is what he tells himself. This is the results of the events that took place here during this cutscene, which the popular fan theory seems to be that this is Ragnarok, to which you have your own opinions and thoughts on that, but regardless of what you call it, it's all the same. Think about it. Xehanort and Ericus fallen in their Keyblade armor, which means the threat that posed to them was a lot more than just your ordinary threat, shrouded in darkness. The True 13, Master Odin stating that you are all that remains. Xehanort couldn't protect them. It was him who brought up the idea of delving into darkness purely out of curiosity, and he paid the ultimate price. They were all innocent, normal classmates that believed in their friend and that he would lead them in the right path. But it turns out that he only led them straight to the end. Again, Xehanort was the one that brought up the idea of chasing the darkness, and it is because of this that he feels that he is responsible for everything. Ericus, being the friend that he is, tries to comfort him by reassuring that it wasn't his fault. There was nothing we could do. But to Xehanort, that wasn't good enough. He had to atone for his sins and make sure that no one would suffer from the same mistake. And from this moment on, Xehanort knew exactly what it was that he had to do.
Oh, tell me more.
All around the world, people live seemingly peaceful lives. They believe themselves to be moral and virtuous, but it's all an act. Darkness lurks in the pit of everyone's heart. Their light is a total farce.
Sounds like your trip around the world opened your eyes, but you got a little bit more than you anticipated. You must have seen a lot of darkness.
They believe what they want to believe, using hollow reasons as justification. They repeat this cycle, and their darkness grows.
So you're saying the weak feel the need to justify their actions to maintain a sense of self. Can't let that slide?
No, it's better they be ruled by darkness.
Through their adventures, he saw the world is filled with countless darkness pretending to be light, leading those under them through the power of darkness. Prime example again being the Queen of Hearts, doing whatever she wanted and spouting justification to maintain a sense of self. The Queen of Hearts is not the first, and she most definitely is not the last. They must be stopped. As he has said, he was exposed to something way more terrifying than darkness, emptiness, the emptiness in which his classmates' familiar faces once filled. Xehanort saw firsthand what happens, and he needed to prevent it from ever happening again. He would become the leader whose sole being is to take on the burden of the world. Onto him shall all darkness be placed in the world filled with light and no peace. Would I be able to handle that? Being the focus of someone else's darkness, someone's heart. Regardless of where these foul emotions were coming from, they gave me comfort. They gave him a sense of purpose. Unfortunately, however, they were already too far gone, and the world had already been polluted with darkness. But with the light of Kingdom Hearts, we could have a fresh start, where he would lead everything and prevent darkness from ever spreading in the first place, so no one would have to suffer the same fate.
What's gonna happen?
A purge.
The world will be returned whence it started. From the light came the people, and the people had hearts. Evil burgeoned in those hearts, begetting more darkness. And the darkness spread across the world like a plague. The light, the symbol of the world's hope, was devoured by shadow, leaving nothing but ruin and utter failure. But the first light, the light of Kingdom Hearts, it can give us a new start. An empty world, pure and bright.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this theory regarding one of the many events to come in the Dark Road finale. There was quite a bit more that I'd like to talk about, but we can't be having 1 hour long videos now, can we? And I know I've been gone quite a while, but hey, it could be worse, right? Also, go ahead and let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm gonna start pulling a handful of comments from each video and featuring them in this end segment as a sort of mini Q&A to every video. So don't be shy. However, like always, it's been Vel, it feels great to be back, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until next time, later.